Good afternoon. This is your captain speaking. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. Um, these couple of days, if you guys have watched any of the previous videos, I have been just trying to figure out this new art medium, which is pixel art. And I feel like I gathered that moving forward, this is the direction I want to go in terms of um art style for the first couple of games. It makes sense across a multitude of platforms. It is, digestible for me to do. And, at the end of the day, it's just, I really enjoy doing it. And so, I won't make this video too long and I won't get too in depth with unnecessary things. So to jump right into it, so I haven't been making too many videos on the map building process because I know if you watch the first video we did about a week or so ago, I had outlined the overlay map, right? Like the area map. You feel me? And I have to redo it. Um, I have to redo it eventually. At some point. I'll probably do it today, actually. But I have to reformat it into this correct canvas. So I figured out what the canvas size was, which is going to be um 320 by 180. And that's 320 for the width, 180 by the height, and I did it like that because um learning how to do canvas sizes was important, and that's what kind of like held me up a little bit from really starting to make the map because I didn't understand how canvas sizes worked in kind of pixels, how big to make characters, etc., etc., etc. And so going back going back through it, right? So not to draw up too many, and this might be too small of a canvas size anyway, but I think it's a good because what I figured is that because this is a multiple of two, this is the correct canvas size to build the game on. I can also, I can make the maps and then connect the maps, attach the maps to each other because of the size that they are. And so, like, if I wanted to extend the canvas out, right, I could just easily do it in here. On the left, I could add another 320, right? I could add another 320 on the left. Um, and on the right or whatever, you know what I mean? I can extend it out and I can continue to make the map, which is so much more convenient. As you all also seen, I was using Photoshop at first. Now I use A Sprite, way easier. I love it. It's just dedicated to making stuff like this because this is not something that I could figure out in Photoshop, so it is what it is. But not to get too deep into that. So I think the problem that I'm kind of, found myself into is more so like I made the map now I'm trying to make the individual cities and the areas and stuff like that. And so I've been trying to figure out in terms of like positioning, right? Like how do I place these maps? And so this was kind of like one thing I kind of came in. So the example is to say like this is the road, right? The player can travel this road, right? These are the shops, that you can open up and you can step into, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Now, the issue with this is when you're doing this, the player, depending on the perspective, right? So this is kind of like top down, right? And so you can't actually see on your left side. Like you won't be able to see the storefronts on your left side. And I don't really know how to like get around that. So in my head, because I don't really know coding yet, we haven't stepped into that realm yet. So I've been kind of like learning basic things to see if I can my idea makes sense. But there's more so my initial idea was to say there should be a camera button. So if there's a camera button, you can rotate the camera into the different perspectives, right? So you can see the front of these stores on the side. Of course, you can see, but you also wouldn't be able to see these fronts, so you can rotate the camera so you can see this side. Now, I don't know I don't know um, how viable that is. I don't know how complicated that'll make it. You know what I'm saying? So I've just been trying to think like other ways because only reason I say that is because when it comes to like something like this, right? Where like do I have to make the map, do I have to make every interactable area built like this. You feel me? Where everything is, facing in one direction, right? And so in this case, in this specific case, it works because it's kind of like it's very straightforward. I gathered to say, right? And so, but all the shops are entrances are on one side. But I think realistically, when making a map and making a city, it's not realistic. It's just not realistic to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not a realistic thing to, in my case, set up, right? And so I didn't want to look through a bunch of different examples yet, not in this video anyway. This is just more so like an update video. And so this is just the current issue that I'm trying to work through and figure out like how do I set up the map itself, right? Do I set it up like isometric? Do I set it up from top down? I just feel like what are my options here, right? And so I'm really trying to just play around with these ideas, and I don't necessarily mind doing something like this, right? But I feel like it does affect the overall vision for the project, and so this is just something that I think I probably just need to work through, and maybe it could be a situation where maybe because I'll stress again, the 2D version of the game, right, is just more so a online simulation that you can interact with, right? And so, it's not designed for you to just get completely immersed into it per se. You know what I'm saying? Like it's supposed to be more like I see like a management screen, right? Because that's why all the assets are made like this because this system can run it, it can manage it better. And maybe, I guess maybe because the thought is like when, um, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So when the 3D version comes out, which is more player focused more than environment focused, we can remodel the areas, right? And so they don't have to all stay straight because it's a 3D game. You can look around. So maybe I'll do it like that. So I'll probably do the top down situation, um, like we have here. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So now that I've got you see how when you talk things out, a lot of things clear up. You feel me? A lot of answers present themselves. So I think I'll do that. That probably won't really affect it because we can just I mean yeah, it's a remodel. So, it could probably, it'll keep it nice subject. But I will cross that bridge when we get there. So I just think that, with we'll be where our, resource wise now, that makes sense. So, instead of just doing it like this, you know what I'm saying? Um, let's get rid of this. Let's just delete all that, right? So instead of this, what we'll probably do, I'll cluster it, right? And then entrances, and then put like an entrance on every side or whatnot, right? And then this could be like I'm taking into account that maybe it's like a seaside town, and then put all the shops based in like this. And I guess also too, what makes more sense because it's not, when coming out with this, we would have several areas that people can um join in on. And I'm sorry, yeah, it'll be several. This won't be the only, player area and whatnot, right? And so with that being the case, right, you can just kind of draw lines through everything. There should be like a turn and then main road, and it kind of comes out here, and then boom, 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 right? Yeah. So I mean, that makes sense, right? That makes a little bit more sense. So like, putting the road through it, people can access it, run around this, that, and the other. Keep people can put up shots. And because I just don't really see, tons and tons of areas, but because even if there wasn't though, you know what I'm saying? Like let's just break it down, by area and planet. So like let's just say Terra, which is the main planet. right? Terra may have, 30 locations, right? And if with that being like 30 locations in Terra, then you kind of expand out, like, there's hundreds of planets, and so you don't get hemmed up in a limited space. And so I think that should be fine. So I think I'll probably do later today. I think when I get back to my home studio, what I'm gonna do is start working on the map, mapping it out itself, and then we'll just go from there. I think we'll just rock that out. So this is just, like I said, quick update. I wanted the 10 minutes, so that was no more, no less. And so I will actually see you guys in the next video. This is your captain signing out.